I thought it would be fun to take a look at all the Endless Space 2 factions, including those added by all the DLCs. So when you put all that together, you've got 12 factions total. 5 of them are rated as normal, 3 of them advanced, and 4 of them as expert. I want to take a look at each one of them, maybe start a game briefly to see what their settings are and what their specialties are. So with that being said, let's get started. And the first one I think I will start with is the United Empire, since that's the one most everybody's already familiar with. So each faction has its own custom ships. This is what their ships look like. They're pretty cool. I think all the ships in this game are pretty cool, really. Behemoth, Juggernaut, Obliterator. So they come with the Emperor's Will, which gives them 0.1 influence per manufacturing point spent. Their traits are they've got Hissho citizens, they're militarists, they've got expansionists, which gives you a minus 25% overcolonization penalty. Patriots, which gives them a plus 25% manpower capacity. Xenolinguistics, which enables exploitation of titanium. Off-road agribusiness, which enables diplomacy with minor civilizations, and the Pirate League, ever important pirates. The Imperials is the major population they have in their faction. Their starting planet is Rhea. This gives you a little breakdown of what Rhea is, how they got there. Their government type is Federation. That gives them +1 system before overcolonization penalty per hero supporting a leading political party on Empire. Okay, that's a mouthful. I think that means the more leaders you have, the more systems you can colonize before you get penalized. You have a minus 20% system development luxury cost on the Empire. Industrialists is the political party. They're supported by building, manufacturing, generating constructions, and recruiting heroes, and a few things like that, colonizing planets. Let's see what they start with.
Under the vision,
it is a time of great peace.
Well, it looks like they start with a couple of alerts. These won't always be the same, I'm sure. Start out with Red Sang. They start with a hero. Dmitry Lelenko has joined your empire. You go to inspect him real quick. He's a counselor. Got a neat little ship. Started out with Eden Incense. And started out with Gigalatus. And we started out here at the upper part of the galaxy, and we've got two fleets. Got this one, which is a settler, and we got the First Patriots Navy, which is a patrol ship. That pretty well sums it up for the United Empire. Okay, sticking with the regular empires, the next one is the Sophons.
Choose science. Choose recklessness. Choose the Sophons.
A curious, peace-loving race whose highest ideals are found in scientific knowledge and technological advancement. Here's a look at their ships. They've got a Hecto class, a Deca class, Kilo class, Deca class, a Giga class. They just go up in numbers, huh? Cool. Peta class, kind of like a computer. Yoda class, Behemoth, Juggernaut, and an Obliterator. So their affinity traits: Omniscience, which gives a science bonus given for discovering technologies based on how many players have already researched it. The fewer who know it, the higher the reduction on the next research. So I guess I gain by being faster on research. Kind of a neat thing. Pilgrim citizens, elevating science to a near spiritual pursuit. The pilgrims possess a religious dimension and place great import in the search for ancient artifacts. So you have +3 research on anomalies and +2 research period. Political opinion is religious. Pathfinder, which reveals location of unexplored adjacent nodes. Fast travelers, +2 movement points on ships. Feeble warriors 2, -20% infantry on Empire, infantry health on Empire. So they're not fighters, that's for sure. Xenobiology, right off the bat they can colonize tundra planets. Rare earth foams, they colonize Mediterranean planets right away. Sophons is a nation of restless, argumentative scientists. Get 3 research on cold and +1 on everything else, it looks like. Their political opinion is scientists. Starting world is Hakim. They're a democracy. And they're scientists, supported by generating constructions. Building, research generating constructions. And recruiting scientists, heroes. Quests and events. Pretty similar to the Imperials. Our United Empire, I mean. Anything else to look at? That pretty much does it. Let's start them and see what their starting position looks like.
They have always been first, the Sophons.
Okay, do an abbreviated version here.
Masters of science. They have crammed the
Abbreviate this
code.
also. They've got, they start with a hero. I'm not even going to try to say his name. He's joined your empire. We can inspect him. He's a counselor also. He's got a small ship just like the United Empire does. Points. These start out, I'm sure these are different every time. They start out blue cap mold. And they start out with Endless Frontiers artifacts. So I think all the civilizations get at least 2 or 3 of these to start out with. All of they're random and they vary with the game start. Take a look at their ships. So one's a colonizer and one's an exploration ship. I'll just take a look at the home planet. I forgot to do that with the Imperials. Here's our home planet, home systems. I mean, one's colonizable and one's colonized with no specialization. Well, that's a brief look at the Sophons. The next regular empire or faction is the Lumeris.
Commerce, baby. The lifeblood of this and any other galaxy.
So their ships, they're neat. Belm class, Drab class. Juggernaut, Obliterator. Oh, neat ships. They're planet brokers, which means they can use dust to colonize instead of colonizers. They've got Ganesh-chest citizens, whatever, who are militarists. They'll fight to the death to defend their planets. They get plus 50% damage done to attackers. Blockade breakers, which means their trade routes can't be blockaded by opponents in a Cold War. They're pretty optimistic, plus 20 on systems. They're efficient explorers, so you get an additional probe on your exploration ships. Off-world agribusiness, which really gives you a system improvement of infinite supermarkets, gives you plus 10 approval. And Xener Synergy, which is a diplomacy treaty. It enables diplomacy of minor civilizations in the Pirate League. Rare earth foam, so you can colonize Mediterranean worlds. Extended Consortium, plus 1 maximum trading company headquarters on Empire. Free market exports, which essentially gives you more dust. Alternative imports, lowers taxes by 50% on the marketplace. The Lumeris are clever, greedy, and Epicurean. They get plus 3 dust on fertile planets and plus 1 on the rest, and their philosophy is pacifist. Starting planet is Genus, which is an atoll planet. Their government type is Republic, and they are pacifists. Let's take a look at their starting position.
Sure, the families have disagreements.
That's why we have codes.
To work together.
I'm just doing an abbreviated version of this,
The 4 families
and an abbreviated
have ruled
version
the
of this
Lumeris
also.
gener-
Put that guy away. Take a look at the alerts off to the side. So they've got a lecture resource. This is Jadnix. They also start with a hero. Yelch Ordarian Rakayo, I think. Take a look at him. So there's his ship. He's a seeker. He's focused on exploration of the galaxy and scientific wisdom. There's his points. Close that out. They also start out with Super Spuds. Sounds like a great potato. And we start out with Mercurite. Ships, they've got First Liquidation Venture. This is an expedition ship. And this one is another expedition ship. No colonizers. They colonize with dust. Probably be pretty fun to see how that works. Let's take a look at their home system. They start with 4 planets in their system. Only one's colonized. They've got this breakdown in their population. Well, that's the Lumeris in a nutshell. The next one up for their regular empires is the Horatio.
Let's beautify the galaxy.
Let's beautify the galaxy. Let's take a look at their ships real quick. Barrow class. Imperator class. Behemoth. Obliterator. So they're gene hunters, which means they can take alien species and graft them into their own species and make them better at the expense of the lives of some of the guys they just happen to victimize. Sound like nice guys. They have Zavali citizens. They get basically more happiness and more approval. Their political opinion is scientists. They got crowded planets 1, which means they get +1 population slot on their planets, so they can crowd themselves together better. Content citizens, so that means they're happy. Perfect genes, 100% hero recovery rate on heroes. Price of perfection, it's a 20% ship cost on systems and 10% damage on weapon. Rare earth phones, which means they can colonize Mediterranean planets. They get the infinite supermarkets and Xeno synergy. Horatio and intend to expand until all the galaxies as gorgeous as they are. It sounds a little egotistical. They start on Horatio Prime. It's like kind of looks like it's a vacation planet. They have a dictatorship, and they are ecologists. And they get quests and events. That's pretty much them in a nutshell. Let's take a look at their starting position.
They only ever saw.
And I'll do an abbreviated version of this also.
I always saw what was.
Back
And
from
cut
the
this short. Put this guy away. And let's see, they start with a hero. Varela EM8. Join my empire. Let's inspect him. There's his ship. He's an overseer, which focuses on system-wide resources and fleet developments. There's his skill tree. What was that? Ships. They've got the first Graceful Shoal, which is a beautifier. That is a colonizer. And the Iridescent Shoal, it's a revealer. That's an exploration vessel. So they start with 2. Take a look at the home system. Looks like they've got 2 that are colonized. Oh, 3 of them are colonizable and 1 of them is colonized. So they get a really great start. At least in this particular instance they do. I don't know if that's always the case. Let's see, for new luxury resource discovered, they get the blue cap mold. And they get red saying. Oh, that's the Horatio in a nutshell also. The next species is the Falters.
Always seeking, never straying.
Take a look at the ships real quick. Barrel class, dark class. That one's pretty neat. So affinity and traits, they're metafolding, which means their colonies can build a portal that permits instantaneous travel to any other gate in the Empire. Sounds like it's easy for them to reinforce battlefronts, so that should make them pretty good on defense. We got Sister Mercy Citizens, gives them plus 25 damage done to attacker during a ground battle. Get a little bit more approval. Involuntary Nomads, they get plus 25 FIDs on system. Bunch of other bonuses except for influence conversion rate on the system itself. Material expertise means they can use strategic resources for system development upgrades. Corsairs, neat thing about that is they can be disguised as pirate vessels. I like that. Black Thumb 2, not very good farmers. They lose 15% food on systems. Core Worlds, plus 10 approval on systems while under the colonization threshold. Xenobiology means that they can colonize tundra planets and they get some science bonuses. Rare Earth Foams means that they can colonize Mediterranean planets. Vaulters are inquisitive and fearless and seek traces of their past and sources of knowledge across the galaxy. Their government types of Federation, and their scientists are their political party. The Vaulters don't have a home system. The Vaulters left the planet of Auriga when potentially cataclysmic geoatmospheric problems were detected. So in other words, they're just wanderers looking for a home, I would imagine. So let's take a quick look at their starting position.
Is this the end of our voyage? We had such hopes at the beginning.
Just a quick glimpse of the intro.
The Vaulters are...
Got this short too. Starts out with an intro to the Vaulters, the tutorial does. They have a super colonizer ship, which is able to create a colony directly without first developing an outpost. So your first task is to find a system for initial colony, the faster the better. Okay, so they play a little differently than the other factions. So they've discovered NGC 1010 rejuvenation field, but I've got to extend my borders influence over to extend my system's influence over to receive its bonuses. Okay. Got a hero, Petrov Jetka. Inspect her. She's an overseer, focused on system-wide resources and fleet development. There's the ship. Empire now we have Transfine. And we also have a Dustidius trees. Right. Take a look at their ships. They've only got one. That's the colonizer ship that we talked about. As for their starting position, well, there's nothing there. They've got to find something. Interesting start. So that is the Vaulters. Now that the regular civilizations are done, I'm going to take a look at the advanced civilizations, and there's 3 of them. First one is the Cravers.
Embrace the swarm.
They are slave drivers, meaning they can enslave factions living on the same planet. Get a minus 10 approval from the enslaved population, but you get 100% FIDS bonus from the enslaved population. Take a quick look at their ships. Drone class, worker class, Queen class, Behemoth, Juggernaut, and the Obliterator. They got Hiroshima citizens, means they get extra food production. They get big fleets too. Crowded planets, which means they can have 2 more population slots on the planets they own. Fearless warriors, 10% infantry health in the Empire. Eternal war. So there's no peace with other factions unless you can get pacifists within your leading political parties. Xenologists, which means they can have titanium resource exploration and they can get xeno-industrial infrastructure built. Survival suits, which gives them impervious bunkers, that's defense. And they get a resource improvement called Chain Gang Program. The Cravers are militarist insectoid devourers. They get 150% FIDS bonus on undepleted planets. Their starting planet is Husk. It's built by the Virtual Endless during the first Dust Wars as weapons. Their government is an autocracy. And they are militarists. No surprise there. And let's see what their starting position is like. And once again, I'll shorten this intro. You always see it when you play the game. I'll shorten this as well. And as always, put this guy away. Now we start out with a hero. Ken Saltus has joined your empire. Take a look at him real quick. He's a guardian, which means he focuses on fleet warfare and industrial production. Here's his ship, skill tree. As for ships, this one gets 3. The first Ravaging Horde is a colonizer ship. The other 2 are exploration ships. They also get Red Sang. And they're also starting with Transvine. Take a look at their home system real quick like. And they've got 1 planet colonized. There's their population, 2 Cravers and an Edisor. These are pacifists. So this is the Cravers. The next advanced species is the Riftborn.
Guide us, lead us, save us.
They're continuum sculptors. They can build singularities and affect time by placing them on a system. So it sounds like that's their unique ability. Take a look at their ships. There's their irrational class, imaginary class. I'm going to sit here and read them all. They have epidemic citizens. You get extra 5 food on sterile planets and a little bit of extra production. They're ecologists. At least their citizens are. Wary travelers. You get -1 movement point on ships. Biophobic. Lots of bonuses there. Plasma metallurgy. You get a system improvement, interplanetary transport network, and a Hyperium capture. That's a resource exploitation. Xenobiology means they can colonize snow planets. Titanium mine. Start with a titanium deposit on your home planet. And a Hyperium source. You start with one of those on your home planet also. Riftborn, they get these bonuses. +5 dust, etc. Their home planet is Vanguard. Their Republic. And their philosophy is Industrialists. Let's see what their starting position looks like.
Ours was a pristine universe. We knew nothing of your endless, your dust.
And once again, an abbreviated version.
This unlucky people.
Cut that short. This guy away. So they start with a luxury resource called Transvine. They've also got a luxury resource called Gossamer. And like everybody else, they get a hero to start with. He has joined your empire. And he's an overseer, which means he focuses on system-wide resources and fleet development. There's a ship. So for ships, they start with 2. First Void Wardens is an exploration ship. First Dark Wardens is a colonizer. Take a look at their home system real quick. They've got 2 that are colonizable and 1 that's colonized. For pops, they start with 2 Riftborn. These guys are industrialists. They also start with 1 Epistus pop, who's an ecologist. And that is the Riftborn. The last species that's considered advanced is the Unfallen.
Listen to the whispers of the heart.
These guys, take a look at their ships. They've got the Heart class, Vine class. Seem to be like plants. Class. So the Unfallen have only ever known their homeworld Koyasa, referring to peacefully study what is near rather than discover what is far. Taking a look at their affinity traits of celestial vines. But it looks like, at a glance, these are great defensive guys who don't explore much, but do get out. Kind of like, looks like they grow with their tendrils to other worlds and systems. They've got off-road agribusiness, which gives them more approval. Planetary landscaping, which gives them more food on certain planets. Guardians. So it reinforces their system's defense and approval. Harmonious 2, which gives them more approval on their systems with peace and alliances. Through peace and alliances. Mutual understanding. Plus 10% damage per friendly major faction on ships and in the Empire. So, looks like a great defensive species to play. Resilient adds an obliterator shield to your home system. So they get extra food. They're pacifists. Home planet is Cloyocell. It's an ancient world. Its origin lost to the mists of time. Their government is a democracy, which gives them a little more influence. And they're pacifists. Take a look at their starting position.
Ignorant of other worlds, of other races, we slumber.
Once again, just an abbreviated version.
An eternity of peace has.
And let's see, this guy has a little bit different start with the tutorial. Unfallen are an ancient boreal species. These vines, the Unfallen can expand into the galaxy. Systems can only be colonized once they have been entwined by the vines. Unique. Since it's not a tutorial or gameplay video, I'm not going to get into that. We've got a hero, Luna Barexis, join your empire. This guy is a seeker. Focus on exploration of the system and scientific wisdom. Look at his ship. They start with only one luxury resource of this game, and that's Jadanix. So for ships, I would imagine they've only got 2 exploration ships. So they've got a Vine ship, which looks like a warship, a small warship, and they've got the first Flaming Embers, which is an exploration ship. Take a look at the home system. They've got one that's colonizable and one that is colonized. They start with 2 Unfallen, which gives them more food. They're pacifists. They've also got 1 Guardian. They are also pacifists. That's the Unfallen. Time to move on to the expert factions. These are factions that have a lot of unusual game mechanics. It's better played when you know the game quite well. First one of these is Nakalim.
We shall scrape off the rust of our long rest and stride across the galaxy again.
And these guys, let's take a look at their ships. That looks cool. So, the last empire. They seek relics of their ancient glory, which bring them power and knowledge. They can collect relics, unassigned relics, and produce. Can collect relics. Unassigned relics produce science. So they have Zero Masala citizens. Gives them more production and dust. Political opinion is religious. Forgotten lore. They begin with the first 2 tiers of technology unlocked. Beliefs, not breakthroughs. So they get science set to 0 on planets and minus 50% on systems. So it looks like these guys are handicapped technology when it comes to technological research, but I guess the relics make up for that. So that is an entirely different way to play the game, that's for sure. They have content citizens. So the Nakalim are faithful to the lost, which makes them enemies of the endless. Gets some approval and food bonuses. Starting planet is Sobra. Their government type is a republic, and their Political party is religious. Take a look at their starting position.
I look out and see the glory and power of the Nakalim Empire.
Once again, abbreviated version.
The royal family.
Cut that short. Relics detected. Well, we start with something, a new kind of screen. The galaxy that you once ruled was rich with relics of knowledge from your ancient sites. A little tip there. Return of the Ancients. The Nakalim are an ancient empire. Now the tutorial starts out a little differently for these guys, which is good. They have this added bar which tracks their relics. Relics assigned to Empire, relics assigned to heroes, and unassigned relics that generate science. So rather than doing research, they use relics. A nice little change in the game mechanics. They get a hero, of course. He looks, I don't know, beautiful. This guy is a seeker, focused on exploration of the galaxy and scientific wisdom. It's a ship. Close that out. As for ships, they get an aspirant, which is an exploration vehicle, and they also get, well, they get two exploration ships. So I'm not sure how they colonize. Interesting. So these guys really play differently, looks like. Take a look at their home system. They've got one planet that's colonizable. They have two Nakalim, and they're religious. And they've got one Zirmisala, which gives them more production and dust, and they're religious also. Almost forgot to take a look at what their resources are, their bonuses. They have dark glitter, and they have Eden incense. Awesome. That's the Nakalim. The next expert faction is the Umbral Choir.
We are the choir. We seek only unity.
So these guys, let's take a look at their ships. And I think these ships look pretty neat, really. I like them. So Infinity and Trace in the Shadows, they have a hidden home system. Can't colonize systems in the normal fashion, but they can put sanctuaries on planets. They can abduct sleep agents from enemy populations, and they're immune to influence conversion. But the ships can be attacked in Cold War even when on their home system. They have an immaterial population, that's pretty cool. Minus 75% food on systems. Dark matter manipulators. They have an organic network, which gives them better hacking operations. They have fledgling traders, which means they get a minus 50% star system trade value on the systems. Stay at home. Get 100% overcolonization penalty on Empire. Twitch infiltrators. What's that? Well, the Umbral Choir hacking is less a learned skill than an inherent ability. Meaning they are peerless when it comes to the speed of their hacks. So they're a good hacking race. Ghosts. All ships can be cloaked, except obliterators and juggernauts. That's pretty cool. Exploited sleepers. +1 per sleepers on Empire. I'm not sure what that symbol is. It's a new one to me, sorry. Whatever it is, they get an extra one. They got a titanium mine on their home planet, and they get a Hyperium source on their home planet. Expensive taste. 100% system development luxury cost on Empire. Xenobiology, which means they can colonize 100 planets and gives them some research bonuses. Planetary landscaping gives them food bonuses. Starting system is Nexus, or starting planet is Nexus. They are democracy, and they are pacifists. Take a look at their starting position.
For as long as we could remember, the cosmos was quiet, peaceful, until one shattering day we heard the death cry.
Cut this short. Cut that short. Let's see. And this one also, the one thing about the expert factions, the tutorial starts out a little bit differently for each one. That's nice. Their home system is invisible to others. They only see a special node. That's good news. Ships are also natively cloaked, which allows you to discreetly and safely explore the galaxy. They've got a hero. Agile staccato. So these are immaterial beings, more like spirits than the physical beings. Inspect him. He is a counselor. He's focused on empire-wide resources as well as diplomacy. Ship. They also get one luxury resource, which is the Sidious tree. The ships, they've got the first Sonorous Echo, which is an exploration ship, and the first Harmonious Echo, another, which is also an exploration ship. So in their home system, these are all colonizable. This one's colonized. And they get 2 Umbral Choirs. And that's the Umbral Choir. The next expert faction is the Hissho.
Blood will be spilled, sacrifices made.
I have a video out on these guys already. And by the way, before I forget, if you're liking this video, please like it on your way out so I can spread my joy to the rest of the YouTube world. Thanks a lot. So the Hissho, let's take a look at their ships. Line class, dive class. They are honor bound. You get 40% KE gain after a space battle under the KE zone of Behemoths. KE is a special resource these guys have. They have Illo citizens. Gives them more influence on hot planets and they're religious. They get sacred traditions. The government type does not change when in rebellion. Observances. Resource recoverers get minus 5% FIDS per systems above overcolonization threshold. Okay. Pirate slayers. You can't interact with them, so you kill them, I guess. Behemoth builders, +1 behemoth production limit on Empire, so in fact this is a good warmongering race. Behemoth discoverer. You start with an economic behemoth in your home system. Xenolinguistics, you get a system improvement for industry. Enables exploitation of titanium. Rare earth phones means you can colonize Mediterranean planets. Issue, their political opinion is militarist. They're fierce and aggressive, fearless in battle. Their home world is Uchi. Hot, craggy, and rocky, but full of lowland jungles. Their government is a dictatorship, and they are militarists by nature. Take a look at their starting position.
From the beginning, a warrior prepares for sacrifice.
An abbreviated version of this.
Warriors.
Cut that short. And once again, the tutorial starts out differently. We're talking about KE, it's a new gauge. It's over here. So you get like Homeland Defense, you get War Banners, you get Way of the Obsidian Eagle, and Order of the Red Blade. So I'm sure these come in handy when you're fighting. They're an honorable empire. They get a hero, Kogiwa Brightblade. He is a guardian, which means that he focuses on fleet warfare and industrial production. Take a look at the ship here. They start out with blue cap mold in this game. They also start out with Eden incense in this game. Once again, each game is probably a little bit different. For ships, they get to start with 3 ships. First Noble Flight is an exploration ship. First Regal Flight is a brood ship, that's a colonizer. And the first Radiant Flight is a behemoth, the warship. It's awesome. Take a look at their home planet, their starting position. And they've got one planet that's colonizable and one planet that's colonized. They start with 2 Hissho pops and 1 Ayaz pop. They're religious, and these guys are militarists. So that's the Hissho. And the last species to look at is the Vodyani.
Choose the cleansing light.
These guys, let's take a look at their ships first. They've got an arc ship, that's unique. I am class. Well, they've got some unique ships. And this race is ship-bound, meaning they live in great arcs and colonize systems in a unique way, so that's already a difference. They use essence, a unique resource, to generate population and create arcs. Those arcs are used to colonize and develop systems. They can be moved at any time. They're fast travelers, it gives an extra movement point to their ships. They're fearless warriors, so plus 20% infantry health on Empire. They're legendary heroes, so they get a minus 50% dust upkeep for heroes and more experience per turn. Utopian infrastructure, which gives them more approval. Xenobiology, which gives them more science. Off-road agribusiness, which gives them infinite supermarkets, which improves their approval. Plus they've got Xenosynergy, which is diplomacy, so they can negotiate with minor civilizations and the Pirate League. And they worship the virtual endless and scour the galaxy seeking ancient templates while devouring lesser beings. So they get some bonuses, dust, and research, production. The home planet is Economy. It's poor yet temperate world, and the fragility of its environment meant it was soon depleted. Their government type is a federation. Get a few bonuses and penalties there. And their political party is religious. Take a look at their starting position.
We once had a home world, but we were poor caretakers. Had we not discovered the virtual...
Cut that short.
The violent
Cut that short. And once again, the tutorial starts out a little bit differently. The Vodyani find it sacrilegious to populate unclean worlds. Instead, they live in the great arcs. They have essence. It's obtained by sending craft to inhabited systems and leeching it from local populations using the fleet action Hyber's essence. Here is the essence resource gauge. So you're gaining 10 per turn. So another neat thing. This must be a behemoth. First Noble Crusade. It's an arc. Experience level of rookie. I believe that's what they use to colonize ship or planets with or systems with. Take a look at their starting hero. Barb Saint Zawini has joined your empire. He looks awesome. He's a guardian, which means he focuses on fleet warfare and industrial production. There's his ship. Fleets. You got the first Glorious Crusade, which is an exploration vehicle. First Vengeful Crusade, which is a leecher. Not sure exactly what that does. First Remorseless Crusade, which is also a leecher. So some kind of warship, I believe. Take a look at the starting resources, the bonus they get. They get Jadniks, the home system. Colonized, 2 colonized planets. One of them's got 1 Vodyani, and this one's also got 1 Vodyani. But that's the Vodyani. And as the saying goes, that is that. So this is Rich from Lorna Strategy Games. I hope you enjoyed the 12 factions of Endless Space 2. And until next time, I will see you later. Thanks a lot.